Welcome back to the Uninkable Dads, the show where we take the Lorcana meta, shake it up like a snow globe, and see which decks are actually worth sleeving up this week. Tonight, we're breaking down the best decks in the Whispers meta, a budget option for those of us whose wallets are in the discard pile, and a couple of spicy off-meta choices for the brave or the bored. Joining me as always is the man who tests decks like he's speedrunning a midlife crisis, brewed more lists this week than I've had coffees, and sometimes he still thinks his next top tier deck is hiding in his bulk box. He's opened more than 250 packs this set. Mate, that's not a hobby, that's a cry for help. It's FPS madness.
Yeah, I didn't really think of it like that. That's a lot of packs. Is it really that many? It probably is. No, it is well over that.
It's well over that, because that's
because I opened my prizing from Action as well, yeah.
Mind you, when you pull a Cindy in every other
Yeah,
pack.
I mean, I did pull the Cindy from my Axiom box as well, so I'm up to 9 now for this set. A playset and a spare. Look at that. Yeah, it is what it is. If I don't open the packs, then I can't get the good cards to show everyone.
Very true.
So, how's your week been? Are you? I know I've obviously been testing a lot. There's loads of deck lists that I'm flying around everywhere, but have you had much practice yourself this week?
I've been playing about with Ruby Amethyst. It's back, baby.
I don't know why. Nah,
it's back.
The deck's dead. It's no good. It can't even win a CCQ. It comes second.
There you go. Second.
First, but it comes second. It comes second at a CCQ.
It's back. Some would say it's never been away. There's not many people. There's not many people, but
it went away for an entire set. It was a short set.
It looks interesting. Really interesting meta right now. Right, we're going to go through a few decks shortly, but yeah, I think that there's lots of playable decks. So, we've been through some different metas where we've had, a very small field of highly playable decks, and then a lot of also rans. We've had some where there's been several different decks that are viable, but those decks have all been pretty much, this is the deck, 60 cards, but you could play that color or that color. We've now got a meta where you can play all sorts. There are decks that are the same ink colors, but they're quite different looking decks.
Yeah,
nothing feels 100%. Like it's locked down to 56.
No, I think we're quite far away from that yet. We're still in the testing phase of this. Like I say, this set being 14 weeks long really is nice because it is giving people that chance to, lock down. We had the CCQ at the weekend. There's been a couple of big events, so we've had our first, what I would say, proper big weekend of tournaments. So we've got, like I say, a few decks to look at from that. But we're going on to another weekend of it. We've got another CCQ this weekend. You got the one in the UK, the Wakefield one. So, that would be more relevant for any of our, obviously, UK viewers. But, yeah, I'm excited on where this is going. There's some decks coming out that I'm really excited about. We've also got the LCCC currently restarted back up. So with that running, we're seeing some spicy decks there as well. So there's deck lists everywhere.
Yeah. So if people aren't familiar with that, that is the something. The Lorcana Cross-Continental Challenge.
Is it challenge or is it something else?
Something like that. So these are some of your top players, content creators from Europe and North America, voted for by the fans, playing against each other. So there's sort of individual glory, but there is also continental glory, team glory. So there's a big EU versus North America rivalry there, and just some of the best players, in the world on show. So yeah, really worth having a
couple
of
youngster players as well this time around.
It's really nice that we've
Aiden and Bradley are both playing, which is really nice to see. Did you see Bradley's latest game? Have you seen any of it?
I've not really seen
you need to watch
much of it as yet, but I will
Yeah,
get on and have a look at that. So yeah,
yeah,
if
but
anyone wants to watch that, it's there isn't a single channel for it. It is spread
no,
across different casters. But if you get onto YouTube
I
and
think
search up
JDZ has
L
most of
Triple
them.
C, there you go. Check out JDZ. He is worth. He's always worth checking out anyway. So go and check his channel out.
Yeah, the chances are if you're following us and you're not following JTZ, then I would be very happy. So thank you very much. But I would have thought you probably found him by now. But yeah, so yeah, it's been a fun packed week. It's been a pretty hectic deck list preparing wise, and we've had some really good tournaments. So let's have a look at a few of the deck lists. So we're starting off then, just to keep you happy, it's back. It is back. As much as it did finish second. It did finish second. We did have a Ruby Amethyst mirror in the final.
Finished second. Finished top 8.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it
there
also
was quite
won
a
it.
few. So it's done really well, and like we say, and it's incredibly strong now, which is really weird because when you look at it, there's only a couple really new cards, but they've made a very very big impact. The Cheshire Cat is obviously massive for this deck. If anyone doesn't know, obviously Cheshire Cat is a Whisper, so you can boost him for 2. But when you do, you can move 2 damage from the chosen to opposing.
Yep. Chosen to opposing.
So
So it can be yours or your opponent's that it
yeah,
moves from.
so you can move damage around basically. You just can't move it to yours. So why you would, I don't know. But I suppose you could banish Diablo, but it's very, very unlikely. So obviously that's in there now. You got the Peter Pan, which is an evasive. That's in there. But the main big ones is obviously the Cheshire Cat, Headless Horseman, basically the top end of this deck.
Yeah.
Ursula, David, and Demona. Obviously in Hercules as well. But yeah, it
And
packs a punch.
the Cheshire Cat is interesting because when I first looked at this, I was like, why would I play that? Because I can play it. I've got to pay 5 ultimately because I've got to pay 3 for the card. I've then got to pay 2 to boost it. I could just play Bell. I'm paying 5. I get to move 3 damage instead of 2. I've got a 4/4 instead of a 3/4, and she quests for 2. Uh, but actually, Cheshire Cat is just so much more of a potent threat.
It's more versatile, wasn't it? I
Mm.
think that's the key with it. Yes, you're not questing for 2, and yes, it's a free for, but you can play it on 3, and then you can technically boost it next turn. Obviously, it's quite slow to boost it next turn, but it is possible. Whereas Bell obviously is a turn 5 and a turn 5 only, whereas Cheshire Cat can be a turn 3, 4, or 5.
And it's a repeatable effect, so you can only do it once per turn, but you can repeat that effect. So if Cheshire Cat survives, he can move
It's
damage
awkward
again
because
next turn.
if you're playing a deck and they have a Cheshire Cat and Dumbo on board, I don't know which one you pick to get rid of. I really don't. Dumbo's obviously a big threat for the card draw, but the Cheshire Cat, the combos that you can tee up to start taking things out is absolutely deadly, especially later game. So yeah, it's a very nice card. It's obviously shot up in price. I think the normal card's not too bad, but I think the foils are up to like £20 a foil now, which is pretty insane. And yeah, like we
So the
say,
night,
Headless Horseman's gone.
I was going to say the thing that I think is really helping this deck is it's just got those different lines of play,
Yeah.
so it can go full on aggressive because you
Mm-hmm.
can go Palace Guard, you can go Diablo, or Timothy Q Mouse into Peter Pan, and then into your genie, say, and everything's questing for 2, other than the Palace Guard. So you can go really, you can go through that really aggressive line. You've got your evasives there. So if you're playing a deck that doesn't deal with evasives too well, you've got Dumbo, Genie, Argo, Elsa, and then the Ursula. So you can get under stuff and cause some real problems. But it's also got the stats, with Lumiere in there to be able to give everything +1, Cheshire Cat to move damage, the Hercules that can challenge something without taking any damage. Um, yeah, it's got that really versatile lines of play to it. So
Yeah, it's got, like you say, so many options. And the thing is, as well, it's weird because Ruby Amethyst always used to be slow to start, right? It always used to be like I play a 1, 2, 3, and then I start to do something 4 or 5 and onwards. And obviously, previously, you'd be wanting to go up to 7 ink because you want to hit that B prep. You want to be sitting around that line. Whereas here, you can go up to 5 and just hold out and just tip over to 6 when you need to. There's no need to go to 6. There's only 5, 6 drops in the entire deck. So, 5 seems to be that sweet spot for this deck. And that's where all the power starts to come in. Like you say, when you go into, if you've got Hercules on board and you play an Elsa, Elsa's a hero and Hercules is a hero. So if you challenge him with Hercules and then challenge him with Elsa, neither of them take damage. So you're keeping things alive, which is really good. Obviously, Hercules is only a one-off in here, but obviously you can play around with the numbers. But yeah, it's strong. I think it still needs it. It can still be tweaked. I don't think we're locked down at any sense. There's probably people that are looking at this going, "Oh, Hercules needs to be a free," and I wouldn't bother with Sisu, or there'd be things that you can change, but as a color combo, it's definitely, it's got answers and it's coming back, I think. So,
and talk us through this, the Ursula card and the David Xanatos, because people may be less familiar with those two cards.
yeah, so you got Ursula, Whisper of Vanessa. So she is a 4/5, quest for 2, 5 cost inkable, but she is also a Whisper, so you can boost her for 1. And when you do, she gets +1 law and evasive. So if you play her on 5, obviously you don't need to boost her on that turn, but you can do if you wish to, if you've got 6 ink. The only difference being is obviously if you boost it, if they've got something like an Elsa or something that exerts, then if it's evasive, it's harder to get rid of. So obviously, if you can play it when you've got 6 ink, it's harder to remove, but you don't need to. And yeah, just questing for free. I mean, it's a 4/5 that quests for free. It's pretty strong. I mean, you wouldn't want to boost it multiple times. You only need to boost it once. I can't think of a reason why you'd boost it multiple. I am playing around with other decks, and in my Ruby Amethyst deck, I've put the Madam Mim in, just because I can boost the cat and boost the Ursula, and if I return them, I then gain those cards as well. So it's a way of
I
like
guess if you're
pseudo
playing
card draw.
against the Sapphire deck, I'm trying to think, maybe Sapphire Steel.
Yeah,
And
they
you
could
think
bounce it to hand.
the only way I'm thinking if you think the only way they're really going to remove it is
Hades.
through Hades.
Yeah, so
All
if
of
you
those
boost it
cards are
multiple
going in your
times, you could
inkwell.
potentially make it awkward for him. I suppose if it's one of those ones at the end of each turn, if you've got 1 ink left, you may as well. If it ends up with 4 or 5 cards under it and they Hades it, that's 4 or 5 ink, so it could be quite nice. And then David is during your turn, if a character of yours is banished, you get to draw a card. So if you have David on board and you have Diablo at a library and you run Diablo into something, you draw 3 cards. Because you gain 1 for the Diablo, 1 for the library, and 1 for David. So that's why in my deck, David's a 4, because he's a lot better than I think people are currently giving him credit for. I can see a few more of him popping up. I think those numbers will definitely go up in decks. Be interesting to see. But yeah. Moving on from that one, we'll come back to Ruby Amethyst in a little bit. We've got a little bit of a surprise one to talk through. But we are looking at a purple steel deck. This was from Lorcana Quest Tour, which was an 84-player tournament. And this won the tournament, has come first. And again, it feels very similar. Take the red out, replace it with steel, and away we go. You've still got the Dumbo, Genie, Elsa, Demona's still in there. We do have Hades in this. They weren't running Hades in the red version. Diablo, Pasgard, Cheshire Cat. It is very, very similar. Instead of the Aladdin, you've got Tinkerbell. Same card, different colour. It's a 1/3, quest for 2 evasive. So this, feels very, very similar. The bonus, obviously, running steel, you get the steel removal cards. So that's where I think the
Mm.
matchup between these two decks is going to be quite close. I feel like, if anything, these are the two decks when you're playing against each other that is going to potentially come down to more skill related, because you both kind of got the same cards, but you do different things in different ways, if that makes sense. So it could be interesting to see the matchups in this. I'm not entirely sure on Hades.
No, the Hades and the Demona are slightly awkward, aren't they? Because they kind of work against each other. Because the Hades, if you're getting two cards, then means if you play your Demona, she's not gonna, she's gonna be
Yeah,
stoned by Dade. Or you're not going to get the value out of her because you've got cards in hand, whereas you really want to be playing Demona with no cards in hand to get the full 3 cards.
yeah. The thing I find with Hades, it feels like a win more card. Like, if you're already in the power of winning, you've got ball control already, and you play Hades, they're always going to just tell you to draw 2 because they need that
Mm.
card on board. So therefore, it's basically draw 2 cards. If you're losing the game and you're behind, and you go, well, I need to remove your evasive Tinkerbell, the quest for 2, they'll just go, draw more cards. You're behind. I don't care. So I don't really feel like his ability of putting something to the bottom is actually going to get used very often at all. It's mainly just play and draw 2 cards. I mean, it's not a bad card because of it, but I feel like it's always going to be in a situation where you're going to help you win the game that you may be already winning more than help you turn the game round, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think if it was you get to pick, like, put a card at the bottom or draw 2, but then I
Mm.
think that'd be broken.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And in testing, I've found it a bit like that. Or, if you're losing and you're really losing the board state, and Hades is your only card in hand, your opponent will go, yeah, fine. I'll put that at the bottom of my deck. That's fine.
Yeah,
I'm
that's it. If you've got no characters on
still
board,
I'm still up on board state, and you got no
yeah,
cards.
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, you're always that is the thing, is that you're always going to get the worst of the deal because your opponent gets to choose, and it does nothing once it's down. If there was I mean, can sing Strength of a Raging Fire, or he held his Thunderbolt in this deck, which is okay. But other than that,
Yeah, I
it's
think
not.
that's why it fits better in purple steel than it does ruby steel. I feel like ruby amethyst. I feel like it's a bit awkward in that deck because they've got stuff that draws anyway. It's like you don't really need it. They've got better spot
Mm,
removal as well. It's like, if you're that desperate to get rid of something, just play Dragonfire. Same
yeah,
cost, uninkable, but at least you know it's gone. So, but yeah,
I mean, 2 docks interesting in this list. I mean, last set, you'd have been looked
Doc
at as
was a
if you were
4.
crazy if you didn't play 4, right?
Yeah.
But I've seen people playing 2 ofs, even playing a 1 off um, dock now, and
Yeah, it's a bit weird because I've been testing Purple Steel, and I found that Doc is a kind of a brick because you get to a point where you're like, I don't want Doc, I've got Demona in hand. Like, I'm never going to play Doc and get rid of Demona. That's never going to happen. So you end up just playing Demona anyway and only drawing 2 instead of 3 because you can't
mm,
get rid of Doc, you can't ink it. So yeah, I can see what's going down still. I think I've got 4 in mine, and I've had it feel more awkward than good. So I can definitely see why it's being cut down. But I think it's still such a good card. I mean, top deck in the dock is always going to feel good. Um,
yeah, I think it's so I can see cutting it down, because I think the first copy of dock you have in your deck is incredibly strong, because you
yeah,
say great top deck. You can hold it and use it as your last card in hand. Um, the second one is not as good as the first, because you never want 2 dock in hand,
no,
and the third is, because of that, is infinitely worse, and then the fourth far worse. So I can
yeah,
see why people have cut back on the number of docks, given the amount of card draw that Amethyst has elsewhere.
yeah. So I feel like if this was potentially maybe the Hades and Demona should be swapped. So Hades are 2, Demona are
Mm.
3. Just to give you that option of like really, drawing 3 is so good. If you manage to get her down at the right time when you got no cards in hand, drawing 3 is good. Drawing 2 is good if you've exerted and managed to utilize that. So like I had a game in testing where I had a Hook, Calhoun, Lexington, and then I played Cheshire Cat on 4, and then played Elsa but didn't challenge, left it, so exerted but then didn't do anything. And then I played Demona, and then I've got all those characters that can all start doing things.
Mm.
You're doing some serious damage there. Whereas if I'd gone with the Elsa, then they could trade back with the Elsa and so on. So I left Elsa and just went Demona next turn and exerted everything. So yeah, I can see both abilities working really well. The exert works really well, and then also the draw 3 cards. Like I say, top decking the Dot feels amazing. Top decking the Demona feels even better. The only time it doesn't is if your opponent's also top decking, and then it can feel a bit awkward because then you have to decide: am I going to keep presence enough that I can afford to give them 3 cards? Because if you can't, you just don't play it. As much as you want the 3 cards yourself, giving your opponent 3 is never good. Whereas you always seem to be better if you're the second person to play Demona. So if they play it first and draw 3 and give you 3, and then you manage to ink, sing strength, and then play a Demona, the chances are they've got 2 or 3 cards in hand anyway. So you're going to gain more from it the second time. So be interesting to see. But yeah, it seems very strong. I would say it won that. I know that Bradley is running Purple Steel in the LCCC. His list is a bit different to this, but it's good. It's very, very strong. So then going from there, we have one that took me by surprise. Wasn't expecting to see this. So we have 114 player tournament, and this finished first. Wasn't expecting to see Purple up there. I've got to admit, I think it took a bit of a hit. Obviously, it does very well, but the issue is, so does other decks now. It's like, why run a Hades when you can run something else that does the same job but for less? I'm not sure. Purple seems a little bit mismatched. I think if you hit the right cards at the right time, it's always going to be good, but you kind of live or die about the ramp. Whereas Purple Steel, you don't need to worry about that.
Yeah, that's true. The Tamatoa is back in this one, so
yeah,
not seen him for a little while.
I mean, me and Panos both have tested Purple. We both done extremely well for Purple. We both won set champs with it. So we know the deck relatively well, and both of us tested Tamar and then took it straight back out again. Because 90% of the time he's too slow. On 6 ink, if you're ramping to get to 6 and then you play something that gives you an item back, you're not doing anything. It just does not feel good. So we toyed with the idea of putting the Ursula, Whisper of Vanessa in. At least you're putting down a free quester, which can help. But the 6 slot felt really awkward, which I think is why you don't see Cinderella in this list, because that's the card that takes you from 4 to 6. So it does that mid-game jump. There was nothing major, so therefore I think that's why in this it still only goes to 5, because then you can still Elsa, you can still Belle, you can still Hades, you don't bother with skipping 5 and going to 6. But yeah,
This has
it's
got
interesting.
12 uninkables, which is on the high side for Blurple, right?
Yeah, I mean 10 to 12 is okay. It's about right. I think you can get away with it because one jump is so cheap, and it's a song. The Ursula, again, it's a shift, so you can half get away with it. Hades is Hades. There's nothing you can do about that. I'm not sure on Spooky Sight. This is still a card that there's been certain games where if I had it, I would have won the game. But there's also been games where I've drawn it and it's done absolutely nothing. So it's like, it's proper in the middle for me. It's like, in that one specific moment, if it was in my hand, I would have won that game. In this specific moment, I've got it in my hand and it does nothing. So it's like, I really don't know. I can see why it's only a one-off in the deck, even if the fact it's uninkable. I still see. I don't think you'd want more than one or two. Let's say the same thing as like you're saying with Doc. The first one's great. The chances are they're not slapping down loads of ones to threes again after that. So you don't really want a second one, and not being able to get rid of it feels very awkward. There's no
It's
way you're
very
playing a
aptly
Tibu
named,
just
isn't
to get
it?
rid of
Isn't
the
it?
spooky sight.
Yeah. It's a spooky sight for your opponent when you do need it and you decimate their board. It's a spooky sight for yourself when it's sitting in hand and you're like,
That's it.
what do I
You
do with
get to
this?
late game, they got like I'm gonna say like purple steel, and they've got a genie and Elsa down, and then you draw a spooky sight off top of the deck. You're like, I got this card. What do I do with it? Or I'll just sit it there and wait for you to play a Tipo. So yeah, I'm not sure on it.
I mean, let us know in the comments, because this is, the start of the set. Everyone was talking about spooky sight. It was going to be the meta-defining card, and now, as you say, people seem really unsure about it, because we see lists not playing it. We see lists with one. I've seen lists playing three. The jury really seems to be out on this one. So let us know in the comments. Are you playing it in your list if you're playing Sapphire? Do you think this is an underrated card, or do you think it is a card that will maybe fade out completely?
Yeah, my there. Don't forget to exert the subscribe button and hit that like button for us as well. It does massively help. I know we do say it every week, but it really does. So yeah, I just realised this has got 2 Monstro and 2 Elsa, but yet 90% of the trades you're going to take with this deck is going to be challenging, isn't it? Surely. If you're going to put 2 8 costs in, surely you'd have 4 Monstro and leave the Elsa and play Domona.
Yeah, I guess Elsa messes up. Yeah, because they've got to be. Well, Elsa exerts, doesn't she? So she can mess up maths in certain situations.
Yeah,
where
I
your
suppose it stops
opponent's
the
maybe
quest,
not.
doesn't it?
Yeah, opponent's not questing because they're building a board. They're going to quest out next turn. She disrupts that, buys you an extra turn. Yeah, I must admit, when I last set, when I was playing about with Blurple a couple of times, I had Elsa in and Elsa out. I wasn't convinced that she did enough.
Yeah.
Being uninkable, because she can be a real brick. At times
Yeah, I
in your
think
hand.
she's one of those cards that, like you say, it can win you a game, but it can also really lose you one. If you're stuck in that late game and you can't find the ink and you keep drawing Hades into Elsa, it's kind of game there. So yeah, it's interesting to see. So the deck that took down this was first place. So the deck this defeated for first place was green blue in the same tournament. So this one surprised me a little bit because from the testing I've done, green blue should be the favourite into purple. It's just got that one-sided ball wipe, which just means that it's going to be more powerful. Purple normally tends to ramp its opponent through Hades and into the unknown, which means you're getting to that Prince field potentially earlier. The only thing I can think of is that the version of blue, green I was playing was obviously had the detective package. So you had the Judy Hopps, 12 Basils, and the Donald. So that meant with the Judy, it gave you that mid-game card draw, whereas this, you've got Donald Duck, and that's about it. I mean, mid-game card draw, that kind of ends there. You got a Clarabelle, but you need to time Clarabelle right to get it. Whereas the Judy, it's like you play it, you try to find a detective. Most of the time you hit, you quest, you find a detective. So even if that detective goes in your ink, it doesn't matter. It's still a card. So yeah,
I mean, there's room in this, right, for something like that. I mean, this is a 4 of everything.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm not sure the mother knows best either. That's a 4 cards that are uninkable that potentially could do not a lot. There's a lot of ward out there.
Hmm.
I mean, unless you want to bounce back your field and replay it, I suppose. But I mean, once you're board white once, I don't think you need to do it a second time. Not straight away, anyway.
No, I
Yeah,
guess she does fuel Clarabelle, but as you say, you're then looking for that very specific line.
yeah. I suppose in the mirror, it's probably quite good because you could use it to bounce their Clarabelle and their shift. So that's 2 more cards in their hand. Yeah, potential. I think, like I say, this deck is definitely not locked down. There's a lot of room and a lot of wriggle for this deck, and like you said, earlier, it's very much of you've got the same colours but built in completely different ways. Nothing's locked down at all. We're nowhere near that, which is nice to see because we've got a long way to go yet. We've got like 12 weeks of this set. Let's not lock down the list just yet, shall we? So going on from there, we have a first place deck that I got to see played in person. This was the number 1 deck from Axion, from the Whispers event. And yeah, he's back. The Headless Horseman is back. I
The
don't
most
like this card.
random card ever, but not random because he's appearing in every Sapphire Steel deck
As a
going.
4 of.
So as a 4 of, but
Yeah,
we don't
I
like
mean,
him.
this deck is very much a case of I'm going to get to 5 and 6 ink and then slap down body after body after body and just, yeah. I mean, the deck is good. Let's be honest. It works extremely well. Is there not another card that we could replace Horseman with? I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I've tested this deck, obviously. Like I say, like I said at the start, I do a lot of testing. Most of it doesn't work. But when I've played Heads and Horsemen, it just doesn't feel good. If you top deck it, feels amazing. Best card in the game. You top deck it, you're like, well, let's get rid of a couple of random cards out of your hand. Let's get rid of 3 out of mine. If I hit any actions, I'm going to do some damage and leave a 5/7 quest for 2 on board. Great. If you play at any other moment with any other card in your hand, the chances are it's probably going to get rid of the one card you don't want it to, and it's going to give you a Tipo and a Mulan or a Captain Hook. Yeah, I just don't feel like with this deck being as powerful it is, it needs a high roll card. It's like, why are we playing something that you're basically taking a bet on whether you're going to win or not? There's got to be a better 7 or 8 cost card we can fit in this.
Again, let us know. Let us know in the comments. Are we wrong?
Probably.
Probably. But do you like the Headless Horseman? Have you found a consistent way of playing it? Or if you're a Sapphire Steel player, what would you put in its place?
Yeah, there's got to be a better one. There's got to be. So yeah, apart from that, obviously the deck is very, very good, very consistent. Obviously, our plan is obviously a 1-drop. If you don't find it, it's not the end of the world, because you've got so many answers very quickly. So probably you want a Mulan at the start, just to give you that option of getting rid of anything that you don't want in your hand. Going into a Tipu or a Sail, straight into Cindy, followed by Jasmine or Namari. Even though you're at 6 ink, normally you want to play Jasmine and Namari next because that jumps you to 7, which then means that you can then play pretty much anything in your deck, apart from Headless Horseman, which needs to come out. See, it doesn't
There you
work.
go.
It even
Doesn't
works
fit.
off curve. It's like there's no point. Take him out, stick something else in. So yeah, you can then jump to 7, which then means you can start playing anything. Vincenzo, obviously very powerful, just deals 3 damage and then leaves you with a 2/8 that quests for free. Obviously, we all know what Hades does. Tinkerbell, again, amazing card. The Goliath is so nice when you get down to the point where you are top decking. You play a Goliath, you end a turn with 2 cards in your hand. Whether you got more or less, you can either discard or draw 2. So you're always going to end your turn with 2 cards. Most of the time, you're probably going to be drawing at least 1, if not 2. But yeah, it's a very good deck. It's a very strong deck. Just got to cut the headless horseman. Find something else. Let me know in the comments. Find something else. What would you swap this card for? It's a 4 of. This deck's relatively consistent. Most things are a 4 of or a 2 of, apart from the one random dog. So drop the headless. What are you putting in? What's your go-to card? I can't think of one right now, but they're big. They're big.
Keithy,
So
Knight for a day. That's 9 cost.
yeah. See, I'll tell you what
Bit
that
10-10,
card
quest for
would
4.
be if it wasn't rotated out. That card would be Cindy. Stout Heart.
Yeah.
That would
Yeah, that
work
would be good
perfectly
in
in this
this.
deck
Yeah, that would work very well.
because you can shift it onto the other Cindy. But yeah, unfortunately, that's rotated out, so we won't go with that one. So, as always, we like to bring you some options, and obviously, a lot of the decks we have looked at, they've won tournaments. They are not cheap decks at all, unfortunately. When you're talking Dumbos and Demonas and Hades and all the others, they soon rack up. So, we managed to find, I'm not going to claim any credit for this, I found this online. This isn't built by, me or Glenn, this is something we found. But this is under £20 or €20 ish. Obviously, give or take a little bit. Obviously, prices do fluctuate, but in that ballpark, you've got the only legendary in here is Prince Naveen, which obviously helps, brings the price down. A lot of the cards are common and uncommon, and rares, and then you've got one super, I believe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a 4 of,
Yeah,
but it's a one card that's a super. So yeah, I mean, there you go. Everyone that would work well. How many songs we got? We got. You've only got 3. Okay, moving on. But so you've got loads of options for this. Loads of songs in here. Ariel obviously does really well with it. The Gazelle, which obviously is a singer 7, so you can sing "Look at Some Family" or "Beyond the Horizon." And when you play the character, you may put a song card from your discard to the top of your deck. So if you play her for 5, you then know what's on top of your deck. You can then, next turn, you're going to draw, say, Look at Family or Beyond the Horizon again, if that's what you've put there, obviously. And she sings 7, so she can sing it. She's got 3 health, so it's awkward to take out. 3 willpower, sorry, and 8 health. So the chances are she's going to stick. If not, they've put in a fair amount of resources to get rid of her. So yeah, it seems to work quite well. You've got the recovered pages to help with the boost. So you've got Gaston, Zeus, and Ariel, which all require boost to bring their abilities really to life. But the recovered pages is there. I believe that is you pay 1 banish and you can boost something straight away. Something like that. I'm gonna have to look it up now. When you play this item, look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal character and put it in your hand. The rest at the bottom. So obviously that's a good start. Banish this item. Put top card of your deck face down under one of the characters with boost. So that means that you can look at the top 4 when you play it. You pay 1 to banish it, and you boost something. The Gaston and Zeus both require 2 to boost, so technically it's cheaper. By 1, so it saves you an ink, and you get to look at top 4. So, if you think that looking at the top 4 for 1 cost is pretty good, so if you take away the cost of the item, but yeah. Overall, very strong deck. We've got the Mickey in there because there's a lot of amber cards, so that's really going to help buff that up and keep things alive. But for a £20 deck, it does well. I've done a couple of test games with it, and it seems pretty strong. Obviously, if you come against a high-end meta deck with someone who knows how to pilot that high-end meta deck, you're going to struggle. But every card that has those lore pips on has a chance of winning. So only takes the right card at the right time.
And there's a lot of people out there that really loved Amber Steel songs. And it's not been around for a couple of sets, so yeah, here's the opportunity to bring it back.
especially at this early point of a set as well. There's so many people trying different things and new things that no lists are locked down, so there's always room for improvement. Where these decks are going to shine because it's relatively consistent. You're going to be able to learn the play lines relatively quickly, and therefore you're going to be able to get your chances and pick off those points. So yeah, talking about loads of cards and people testing and whatever else. We have the Grandad Glenn special, who's somehow morphed himself into Frank Carson and decided to just play loads of random cards by the looks of things.
No, this is a deck.
What'd you do?
I mean,
Drop
this
your
this
deck and
really is a deck.
just pick it up off the floor and ended up with this?
This is a deck. It all hangs together.
This looks like your wish list.
If you want to play something that is actually a lot of fun, and if you like Ruby Amethyst, this is worth trying. This is probably not what the optimized list would end up looking like. I mean, I've only got one Dumbo and one Demona, so they're always going to be one-offs. But this is doing a couple of things. I've called this damage move because that's kind of what this is playing into. 4 Cheshire Cat, 4 Panic, 2 Bell.
Yeah.
All cards that can move damage. And then you've got things like the Milan that comes in damaged. You've got the Prince John that gets damaged when your opponent plays a character. You've got your 7-drop Hades that does damage to one of your characters in order to draw 2 cards. And then you've got a bunch of big statted characters, likes of the 4-drop Demona, the Argo. You know, you've got things that can really hold some damage on them. So that's kind of the big idea of the deck, but it has got the ability as well to put some pressure on your opponents at times. You've got the Diablo in there. You've got Yelena and Sisu, which both quest for 2. You got your Genie in there. A Panic, he comes down and moves some damage, but then he also quests for 2. Plenty of card draw.
So I was looking at this. I could be wrong. I don't think you have enough early game card draw. So you've got Genie, which is fine. Genie is always a 4 of in pretty much any deck. I mean, the chances are most of the time he can get answered now, but he does his job, so it doesn't matter. If you've managed to draw a card and quest for 2, you don't really mind if it gets removed. The Diablo most lists is a 4 of and it's a 3, so you're missing 1 card draw there. Dumbo is normally a 4, obviously it's 1, obviously we know the reason for that, but you normally then replace it with something. So instead of 3 Yzma, you've only got 2, so you're missing a card draw there. And then you then don't draw again till either Hades, Demona, or Hades. I don't know whether you've got enough early.
How many cards do you need in hand if they're all perfect cards? Yeah, you could be right.
This is true.
You've got there is the Elsa 3-drop, which you could play, which draws a card.
Yeah.
When you play her.
Or you need David. See, I told you, David should be a 4 of in every deck. You play David, swing all your low characters into things, they all get banished, you draw a load of cards, flood the board, away you go.
David would fit into this. Yeah.
David is slept on.
He's not early card draw, though. You're after early card draw.
No, he's not early card draw, but he's mass card draw. There's a difference. So, but no, I really like this. I like the fact you've gone wide with options, if that makes sense. You know, if you come across an aggro deck, you've got enough there that you can go wide with enough characters to do enough damage to start dealing with things. You got the one-off Dragonfire for emergency button. The goofy catches people off by surprise. And then just silly little things like the Prince John. The Prince John's a 5/5 on 3. That's going to be dealing with most things if you need to challenge with it. And then you can go straight into Panic or, next turn Bell and move that damage. So there's loads of options with this, and I do really like it. It looks good yet messy. I first look
Yeah,
at it and think, "Oh my god, what am I looking at?" And then I'm like, "Oh, actually, it's not too bad."
it's definitely
Yeah,
messy. It's definitely a list that you would refine if you wanted to play it,
but the
I think,
thing
more
is, when we're
competitively.
this
But
early into a set, this is the right thing to be doing, right? You want all these random cards to work out what's good and what's not. It's like if you're playing and you've got the Yelena as a one-off in your hand, you've got a Peter Pan in your hand, and you've got a Diablo in your hand. Because you've got these three different cards in there, you've got options. Therefore, you can start to see what's good and what's not. Whereas, if, like you say, if you had four off your laner and you drew all four or all three, you don't have options. You've got your laner or your laner. Whereas, by doing this, you are giving yourself options in hand to see what is good and what isn't. So I think in early game or early set, sorry, this is probably the right way to do it. We probably, apart from the obvious ones, we probably shouldn't be running four ofs of anything really, because you need to see how cards are doing and what they're reacting to. So, yeah, I like it. I do like it. I think you catch a lot of people out by surprise because it's one of those ones. If you see you ink a Sisu, you're like, oh, there's going to be another three of them yet. No, there's only two, but no one's going to know that. Inkadumbo, oh, there might be more. No, there's only one. But only you and the viewers. So if you play Glenn, then you get the heads
and
up
then
view. But they go, look, bringing you Uninkable Dad's privileged. Like you get to know what Glenn's playing and know how to beat him. There you go, perfect.
well, you say know what Glenn's playing. You know what Glenn's got sleeved up
Yeah, well, whether you turn up
because
and actually play is a different matter.
because I've sleeved about 3 different decks over the last few weeks, but not
Yeah,
actually taken them out of the box and used them. Just by the time I've got to, I could actually turn up and play with some shiny cardboard again. The list has changed by then.
yeah. You throw all those Ruby Amethyst cards on the floor again and pick up random ones and see what the next deck is. But no, I do like it. It gives people options, and I like the one-off Hercules in this. I think it's nice. I think you could probably go up to a couple more, but you've got quite high uninkable, so you need to be careful with this. But Hercules is a good card. I can see him doing well. Fair amount of heroes in this as well. So, but talking about Hercules and heroes and challenges, we have a little quiz for you. So I'm not going to claim any credit from this. I did find this online, but I did send it into our group chat today. It threw a couple people off. Did you get it? Did you get it?
I mean, this board is so complicated, even Google Maps couldn't navigate it.
So
But I got close, but
yeah, no, you
no
weren't
sort.
far off in fairness. So I'll explain it for anyone who's looking at it, just thinking, well, there's some cards in front of me. What are they? If you are listening on Spotify, unfortunately, this is one of the ones that you do need to see this. There's no way around it. I can describe all the cards for you, but if you can remember the cards exactly where they are and what they're all doing, then you're probably better than I am. So, but we have on the opponent's side of the board, we have an exerted Maui Half Shark, an exerted Hades, and a readied Headless Horseman. On your side of the board, you have a one-cost Mulan with no damage on. She enters play with 2, but that's already been healed or removed or whatever. A Mother Gothel, which is the one where whenever you challenge, you can move 1 damage. The new Hercules, which can't be dealt damage unless he's challenged. And he also gives that ability to heroes when he's exerted. And Elsa, 5-drop, in your hand, 5th spirit, and you have 5 ink to play. So yeah, let us know in the comments below, can you wipe your opponent's board using what's on screen, so those 4 cards, and leave yourself with all 4 cards with no damage on them? So obviously Hercules will help you here. That's the only hint that I'm going to give you. But you have to synergize this in the right order and in the right way to be able to clear their board and leave yourself no damage. And this isn't a trick question. It is doable. I'll explain it on next week's pod if anyone doesn't manage to do it. But yeah, it is 100% possible. You can clear your opponent's board and leave yourself all 4 characters with no damage. So yeah, drop us a comment below. Let us know. You know, if it's a long-winded message, obviously feel free. There are other ways to reach out to us. You know, we have our X, our Instagram, our Facebook, and we have email. So if you're like, I'm not writing all that in the comments, I'd rather drop you an email, then feel free. There's multiple ways to get in touch with us. So yeah, we'll reveal the answer to this one on next week's podcast. I've just got to remember it for next week now. I've got to get to next week and go, how do I do this again? So yeah, be interesting to see. Obviously, there's a few of our locals that have had this challenge in the WhatsApp group, so no going and spoiling it for others. You know, we know that a few of you have already given you the answer. So yeah, we'll see what you come up with on that one. So as always, we try and bring you some Lorcana news. So unfortunately, we haven't had massive news recently, but we have had a few bits that we just want to recover. So obviously, Infinity Weekend is coming up. That's in December. The new news part of this is that it is also playable on Friday. So you can book events on the 12th, 13th, or 14th of December. So some stores are running this on their Friday night instead of just at the weekend. So that means 3 events you can attend. So you can get 3 of these cards. So, try and take a friend. If I haven't played before, it doesn't matter. It's Infinity. You can play with all the cards. Take a friend to your locals to help get yourself that playset of the Whole New World promo. But yeah, so that's on obviously the 12th, 13th, or 14th of December. Obviously, each store has different pricing and different layouts and stuff, but that's how you're going to get the card. We also have news on Set Champs. So Set Champs is the first 4 weekends in January. So that is the 3rd to the 4th, 10th to 11th, 17th to 18th, and 24th to 25th. So yeah, the first 4 weekends in January. Some stores are already starting to get the tickets out there. It's early, but it is possible. I have already booked my ticket for our locals, and this is obviously the locals that we've got on screen here. So yeah, that's already out there, ready for people to be booking in. And yeah, I'm excited for this one. Another Set Champs to look forward to. Let's see, not going to jinx it. It's too far away yet. We also have news on those, that place that we're all going to be going to. We'll both make it to EU Championship, I would have thought by then, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Depends on how many times you throw your cards on the floor and pick up. But we'll see.
Yeah, I'd be standing at the door looking in, all those people that qualified. But yeah.
So NA Championship is held at Disneyland Resort. I believe this is Disneyland Resort Hotel, which is where Worlds was held. This is August 28th to 30th, 2026. So we know when the NA Championship will be and where. And we also know the same for the EU one. The EU one will be held at Disneyland Paris. We're not sure where. I'm guessing it's going to be one of the hotels in a conference room somewhere. And this will be on September the 11th and 13th of 2026. So, yeah, just under a year away for that one. So we've got a long time yet. Long time. We know... Oh, actually, that's a bit of Lorcana news that I haven't prepped for. Bit of spontaneity Lorcana news. We know there's going to be another UK CCQ, which is actually now will be hosting one early next year, but we don't know when or where yet.
Ooh.
But that is confirmed that they will be holding the CCQ the first, I'm going to say, half of the year. So yeah, another chance in the UK to get that EU Championship. So yeah, be exciting one. And obviously, talking about Set Champs and everything, that's obviously at the end of the set, and we are a little way away. We're about 12 weeks away from the set, but we do have some pictures of the next set. So Winterspell is obviously our next one. So we've got some boosters there, the Trove, and the mats that are coming out just for people to have a look at. But yeah, I would say I'm excited for this, but I'm not yet. It's way too far away. Don't want to think about this. It's like, don't get me wrong, the card art I'm sure is lovely. Everything's going to be nice. but it's too far. It's too far.
They're going big on the mats, aren't they? Because we've normally had 2 mats a set, right?
Yeah, these are different. So the Ariel and Belle are with the set. The Dragonfire mat is Rothenberger only, so you can only buy it through their website.
Oh, okay.
And the Mickey and Minnie iconic picture mat is Disney parks only. And I believe that's foiled as well. But you can only get it
Nice.
at Disney parks. You might be able to get Disney Springs, not sure. That's technically a retail park. So, but yeah, a little bit of news for you there. So we are coming up towards the end of the episode, but as always, we have our Art Matters game. So last week, our Art Matters was who is more likely to steal that last cookie out of the cookie jar. So from Art Alone, who's going to steal the last cookie? Well, our first one up was Bev, and they come up with Aladdin Street Rat. I can see that. He's definitely, gonna just run past the cookie jar and pick it up and run off. That's definitely a good one for this. I can 100% see that one. We also have Ryan, who come up with Gurgi.
Gurgi. Yeah, from the Black Cauldron.
Because he loves the munchins and crunchins. And cookies, apparently. So, yeah, that's a good pick. Unfortunately, Ryan, Caroline did also go to pick this, and I said, you can't have that, Ryan's already got it. And she went, he's got to change his mind. I went, no, you can change yours. So Caroline's pick for this week was Daisy Duck. She said she looks like she could sneak in there, like when you're not paying attention.
Yeah, I like that one, definitely.
Minding
Because we
your own
say card
business.
art, and yeah, she definitely looks like she's stealing something, doesn't she?
Yeah, you're just chilling on the sofa. You've just taken a cookie out, and then she comes along and steals that last one while you're not looking. So from there, we have your one for this week. So we have.
I got my one here.
What? Oh, you're gonna steal the last cookie? No.
Half
Unfortunately,
chance.
it's
Half chance.
official
Yeah,
art only.
and
We can't have
not
the birthday Glen.
no, not in this house anyway, because I don't get a chance. The kids have stolen them way before.
I was going to say they don't make it into the cookie jar, do they?
No.
So
Hang on.
obviously we've got Nick Wilde and his popsicles.
Nick Wilde, yeah, because I thought, well, he's a bit like the whole popsicle hustle. He's going to nick that last cookie, and then he's going to find some way of turning it into multiple mini cookies and sell them all off and make a profit.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, I suppose. My one, I went with LeFou. So I saw this art and I was like, yeah, I mean, he's obviously got no worries in stealing someone's birthday cake, so he's not going to care about that last cookie. He's just going to walk up, take it out of the jar and be like, yeah, so what, and walk off. He's not going to care at all. So, yeah, that was last week's Art Matters game. And the card Art Matters theme for this week, as I know this episode goes live on a Friday, but yesterday it was Thanksgiving over in America. Also, we're in the UK here, but we know that was obviously on yesterday. So the theme for this week, sticking with that, was who would be the best card by card art alone? Who's going to be your chef for Thanksgiving? Who's going to cook up that turkey? Who's going to cook up that meal for 20 plus people? Who do you trust to put that pressure on? And like Granddad Glenn's birthday card, you can't pick your own on this. You can't take a picture of you on a Lorcana card and be like, I did it. That doesn't count, unfortunately. But yeah, let us know in the comments below and we will reveal that on next week's. So as always, it is time to roll up that playmat.
Pack away the dice.
And remember, stay uninkable.
See you next time.
See you next time.